This is a in one line, as you should go through the document as well, which I have shared with you. Plus, just in the one line description, we can go for that LOD 100 is a model suitable for brief performance requirements and site constraints. When a just a guy has to understand how. Now, if you see model 100 is just for the brief introduction. Whenever a new model or new site is being given to a designer, he always thinks of it in a function of floor area ratio. So for that floor area ratio, he needs to define the shape of the building and how much floors can come out of it. So he creates a minimum level of detail of a model in which he just creates up to LOD 100, which is required. Not more than that is required. But then after that conceptualization, model goes to another different stages. Those stages include LOD 200, in which conceptual design, model, aesthetic intent, and early coordination and estimating activities comes under. So then estimations come also gets included in LOD 200. Plus, when you talk about accurate design measurements, accurate development model for coordination, sequencing, and estimating, which normally all the AEC industries do, they have to create a model up to LOD 300, and that is what is required. But as I have already told you that we are conducting building information management and building information modeling classes, right? And this is a small part of a Revit comes up, and we are going to train in that as well. But I would be teaching you about BIM management, BIM modeling process, how to adapt it inside an entire building life cycle. So in this becomes a very much big part, because if you see there is a LOD 700 level. Earlier in the first slide, I have shown you this dimensions, right? What are the other dimensions in Revit? I'll if this LOD, not LOD, the dimensions that I was talking to you about, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, and 8D I have also mentioned you, and 9D would be coming soon in a year. These LOD levels directly are in direct comparison or direct cohesiveness with all these dimensions. If you see, LOD 300 is more than enough for you to go towards 4D parts as well. You can see sequencing is there, and then there is estimating is there. Estimating, the moment you say estimating, it comes into the cost and quantifiable of every element, which becomes a 5D part, where we say it's a cost is also added to every element of the model that we are going to create. As well, when we talk about LOD 400, apart from being accurate and dimensionally correct production model, it is basically a model where you can create a fabrications part. Like actually LOD 500 is being considered as the ideal model LOD level to create fabrication parts. So whatever we are doing in Krishnagiri, for that we need to have a LOD 500 model. Now what happens generally with LOD 500 model? When you have a 3 walls, 1, 2, 3, with all your footings and with all your slabs. Now all these have a connection details, whether it's wet connections and or dry connections. So when these connections are properly well connected and well modeled inside a factory, inside a model, then those model can be directly exported to one of the IDAT, CAD link or precast Revit link, and out of that PXML file can be generated, which can be understood by the machines. So LOD 500 is a direct in conjunction with the prefabrication part. So we need that much amount of detailing and accuracy so that nothing goes wrong in our production. Because even a single line miss, we would be creating a lot of different panels. So we can't afford to have to recreate panels again and again. We can do it on model, but not on production part. So this, if you see, LOD 500 is a construction model used for coordinating special subcontractors, fabrication and installation activities throughout the construction. So what do you mean by installation activities throughout the construction? How that thing is going to get constructed, where the entire site man logistics will come up, where the crane is going to come up, where the storage department is going to come up, where are the roads, how the entire site logistic will be planned. That entire thing comes up into our LOD 500. Yesterday I have made you saw this one picture which was so much identical to the realistic model. It is because of that only. What we want to achieve on realistic grounds, we need to create the same thing inside our model, virtual model as well. You must have seen Avatar. Avatar is an English movie which is based entirely on fiction world, and it is so realistic that you come to realize that okay, it might be possible that this thing can be done or can be played with or can be explored, but actually it's just a computer generated model. Entire area or entire that environment is computer generated. So that's the power of technology, which is helping us to realize whatever we want to achieve before we have actually built it on the site. LOD 600, it's a record model of the asset as constructed for operation handover. Basically, you don't need to do anything much on LOD 600 if you have done a proper set of information on LOD 300 and 400. The entire information which you have done on LOD 300, 400, LOD 600 would be utilizing things. It won't require as much any inputs from your side. Mostly the input comes under these three categories: LOD 300, 400, 500. Then LOD 700 is an operations and maintenance model, which is again, it is not that it is very much important. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying you don't have to work much more if you have worked on these three LODs before. Okay. So let's go to our Reviting. Now we were yesterday we have explored the view control bar and status bar. Okay, and I have told you about the 5 principles of Revit working, inside which is there is instance properties and edit properties as well, which I have told you about. Plus if you see, now I have this this little curriculum I have. We're gonna have to follow this curriculum so that we can understand where we are. Let's go with the interface. Let's come to the unit conventions first. What is unit conventions? So you need to understand that there are templates. There are templates, and then there are project. These are two different things. You all know about a base, right? On which we create everything. The base is a template onto which we create something. So if I close this one, close it in Windows, and I should close this all thing, and no. Now first window that is going to be pop up is this one. In this if you see yahan par, if I say new project, the small little window shows up which says which kind of a template you want. Okay, but you have to be careful which template is it really asking. Is it a metric one or an imperial one? In Revit, these two kind of convention systems are used, metric and imperial. So when we go to the browse button, you see here on the browse button, if I select none here, okay, I don't want to use any template file, and I press OK, then what will happen? Revit will open a default file, but it will ask you, like if see, I press OK, it will ask you which system of measurement do you want to use in your work. Then you can selectively answer this question, and then whatever you're going to write the templates in, all would be metric or imperial based upon your selection. But you have to be very careful. You want to work in imperial, and then you have wrongly chosen metric template, then you later think of changing the units. There is no wrong in changing the units, but there would be lot of repercussions with it, lot of problems with it. Like how? If you see, the moment I have opened this metric thing, now this is a baseline. You won't find any elevations here. Okay, there would be only one view here. With the one view, if you see, level 1, floor level 1, and ceiling level 1. but there are no elevations, no sections, no different categories. You're gonna have to create everything from the scratch. So for this method, you're gonna have to understand. Let's see. I'll do one thing. That's why templates are important. So we'll cover this aspect later on. But right now I'm going to select. I want to create a new project, and I don't know here which is metric and which is imperial, right? So I'll click a browse button. The moment I click on browse button, there is written over here that it's US imperial. The moment I click down this button and I go to this templates bar, there is US imperial and there is US metric. So now I'll click this US metric, and out of this US metric, now you see this is a construction default metric template. There is electrical default metric template, there is a plumbing default metric template, and there is a structural default default metric. These all are different templates set with different discipline settings. So you don't need to do it again and again and again. How? If I select a default metric, I'll press open and I'll press OK. Now by default, whatever you're going to create, it is going to be created in a metric system. Which system you use right now? Metric, right? Now the thing is, I'm going to create a new project as well, which would be a imperial project. Here, you know that these all are imperial by default. So I just select an architectural or a structural, because most of the people are structural. I'll press OK. And I'll press window tiles, okay, and zoom all. Now you can see what happens is that we, in a default metric area, there is everything which is defined anomaly. There is no discipline specific thing. But this was a structural default, which belongs to imperial. But you can see there's a structural plans allotted to it. There is no floor plan, there is no ceiling plan, because floor plan and ceiling plans are not required by the structural engineer. They need just adjust structural floors. Whereas if you see in the default metric, you will find this floor plan and ceiling plans. So this is a difference. When you see architectural floor plan, you won't find the structural plan into it. And by default, if you go here, this by default here in the discipline, they would be written out structural. So whatever the structural elements that you're going to create will be visible, but whatever the doors, windows you're going to create will not be visible in the structural template. There are ways for us to let us know about it, that we can see those things. But we, by default, we get these settings into it. Now, my intention was to tell you what's the difference between an imperial and a metric template. If I select a wall, WA, and I click here, you can see this. What happened is that I am not able to see the wall, because wall is structural right now. So over here in the instance property, I'm telling you again, because if this is one of the most important things, you have to check the instance property. This is the third principle that I've told you about. This is a floor plan and this is the instance property. Over here inside a discipline, I would choose not structural, I would choose coordination, so that I can able to see every discipline. The moment I select a coordination, you can see your wall showed up. Now this is wall is 15 feet. Now you know what happens, that the moment I click it, there is by default a one dimension. This is called temporary dimensions or listening dimensions. Write it down. Do not sleep. Listening dimension or temporary dimensions. These are the dimensions which helps you in changing stuff, in modifying stuff very easily, because it comes handy. It comes automatically. Dimensions, listening dimensions or temporary dimensions. So there are another dimensions as well. Then there is a linear dimension, which is a permanent dimension. So to convert a temporary dimension into a linear dimension, which comes automatically, we just need to click this small button which is here, it's highlighting here. The moment I click it, it becomes a permanent dimension, permanent linear dimension. Okay. Now what happened is this, I'm going to create a similar wall over here, and it was 15 feet. Now 15 feet into what's a conversion to mm? Huh? 0.30. No, that's in mm. Let it be 3000. Let it be 3000. Okay, let it be 3000. Over here, I create a door, dr, and I create a door. And you can see these things are already showing as a part of your temporary dimensions. And this comes automatically. If I change here, you can see it helps you in changing. So the moment this comes up, that's good. Now I want to have to create what's the dimension of this. It's 915. In the same way, I'm going to create another door over here, which is a door opening, and I'm going to create its dimension as well. This is 3 feet, right? Now 3 feet in imperial terms converts into 915 mm in metric terms. No problem, right? This is the right conversion. Now to change the units and configure the units, the shortcut is UN. How you draw that door? I'll draw you I'll tell you afterwards. I'm right now telling about units. I'll tell modeling tools afterwards. Select this button called UN. Type it UN in your keyboard. The moment you said UN, a normal pop-up box will come up with projects unit. UN means units, project units. Over here, if you see in the length part, if you select it, in this length part, it is written out millimeters. Okay, I have selected this window here. That's why this was the active proportion. Now, if I change it millimeter to fractional inches, right? Fractional inches and feet and fractional inches. Feet and fractional inches. I'll write it out, and I'll press OK. And I'll press OK. That's good. 3 feet it came, no problem with that. And now in this imperial template, I go to this imperial template and I'll again press UN, and then I select length, and I'll again say I don't want feet and fractional inches, I want millimeters. So what exactly I'm doing is we had one imperial template, I'm converting that imperial to metric, and I was having one metric, I'm converting metric to imperial. Now what's the intention, why I'm doing it? I want to tell you that it is very important for you to select a proper template rather than changing it later. There is no problem in changing, but what happens after it will be a problem for you. That is what, like if you select the millimeters and I'll press OK and press OK, you see what happens. It's changed. It's 914. It's right. It's not like it's not wrong. It's like it's wrong. Yeah, but it will be 1 mm difference because it is changing it. Then supposedly over here, if I select any door, right, but all the doors which you are able to see are in imperial. So it will take according to imperial. Imperial only. There will be difference of something. Yes, yes, yes. More importantly, if you select anything, like if you select anything, it will show up in your mm only. But the problem is when you're going to edit that family, when you want to change this family over here, everything will be changed, but you can see the type and the family belongs to the imperial part of it. In the same way, if I press a simple text button as well, you can see all the text sizes would be of imperial category. So that's why a template with the imperial settings should not be tampered with, should not be converted into metric. Should not be. That's a best practice. It is not, I'm saying it is not possible. I can, I have shown you, it is completely possible. But it is not a best practice to do this. So always be careful what kind of imperial system you are going to, what kind of system you are going to work in. Okay, that we have covered this first part called unit conventions. So whenever you are writing notes, you can have this headlines which I have written out. You can have this headlines so that you also remember well, because ultimately your test, whatever is going to happen, will happen on these bases. Did you able to understand all these stuff or not? Second part, recent files. What does this recent file means? You come here to the big R of Revit. Let me check with the other people as well. KG, you are able to hear me?
Yes.
No problem right now?
Yes, okay.
And you able to understand what I am saying? Because if I am going fast, please do let me know. Am I going
Okay.
fast?
Okay.
Medium now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If any one of you have any problem, then just call me up. Okay. अरे हाँ मधु को पूछना था. मधु सुन रहा है? सब कुछ सुन रहा है?
इसलिए तो बोल रहे हैं ना.
अच्छा. Okay. Now let's see. First thing was completed, unit conventions. Now second thing is recent files. Now sometime it happens you open some files and then you're gonna have to open them again. Then you have to again go to the folder view and check it out which file was that. So in order to have that, you can go to this Revit application menu. The moment you're going to click it, you see these are the recent files that I have opened. So in this manner, these files would be culminated here. Okay, so you can always retain these files. How? There is a small pin button here. The moment you click it, this file will not go anywhere. But this file, if it goes to the top and bottom, then it's going to be out of the system. So you won't be able to access it from the recent files. Okay, so this is the best way of retaining a file. That's it. This is a usage of recent files. Now next portion. Understanding interface. I have told you about the entire interface, I think, right? Application menu, everybody knew?
Yes.
Quick access toolbar, everybody knew?
Yes.
Ribbon, then ribbon tab, panels, and button and tools, right? Now, if you see in this big Revit application menu, okay, there is a very powerful button called options. When we click on this options, there are various things which we can configure. What mainly is important is that a guy who is structural engineer, he does not need a systems tab, because systems tab belongs to an MEP engineer, right? So over here, actually it should not be done by you, it should be done by me to all the people who are going to work. But I would like to tell you that why I'm making you aware of it, because anyhow, if you're not able to see any of the ribbons over there, you know how to make this visible. So if you see in user interface, all these tabs and tools and panels, whatever you are able to see here, they are all enlisted here. Okay, they all are enlisted here. That in the same way, the file locations, you have seen that templates wala thing. You see this is a construction template, architectural template, structural template, and mechanical template. Now I don't need mechanical template for the structural guys. I'll delete this one. I don't need architectural template as well, right? I'll delete this well. But I want a structural template, but I don't want that structural template for an imperial, right? So what I'll do is there's a small button here, a very small one. You just click it. It will show you that by default, if you create a new project, it will select this template which comes under US Imperial. So you just go back and say, I don't want that. I want a US metric. And then I want a structural analysis by default US Canada by default metric. Structural analysis default metric. And you press open. Now this will come always. Okay. Now press OK. Then everything like would be applied. Okay. Now the moment I press OK, even here, if I create a new project, I want to create a new project, you can see here only two options are showing up. And if I select the structural template, say I'll select this construction template first, I'll press OK. Now tell me, is this imperial or metric? Good. This is imperial.
How's the difference made?
Because imperial, I have not changed the file location of an imperial. I have changed the file location of only structural template. So now if you see here, I create a wall, this is a imperial. But when I close this one and I'll create a new project, by showing it as a structural template and I'll press OK, what it would be? Metric. So now it would be metric. See? So that's how you can configure. Now soon we will be having our own templates like KEF templates. KEF templates for construction different, like not for construction, for different typologies. For residential one template would be there. For commercial one template would be there. For industrial parks or for different software development, everything like different typologies. There are around about 17 to 18 typologies in which a general AC industry works. So we can have 3 to 4 right now. For now what we are working in, we can have 3 to 4 templates out of it, and we will have a separate classes for templates creation as well, because eventually you are the first batch of KEF, so you would be management would be management would be what we say would be expecting to have lots of BIM champions from you. So when a BIM champion has been created, he is in a limelight. He's a guy who knows a lot of things about different tools and a BIM management process. Then he has a better chances of leading a team which is going to come after you, your juniors. So whatever and whichever position they might be, they're gonna have to consult the BIM champion. Okay. So so you understood about the options bar. Okay. So I think this option bar, if you go, there is there is like, if I see user interface, you know about this user interface. Don't have to tamper with all these stuffs, because this is if somebody tampers with it, it would be a problem for me. Okay. Then file locations. Here you can, at the moment that you have deleted the file, you can add the file as well. So if we have 5 templates, you can you can click which template you want to select, and then by default that template will show up the moment you are creating a new project. Okay, same way that I have deleted it, same way I can add it also. And this is a default path. I'll tell you afterwards that when you are going to create work sets. Now what are work sets? What is work sharing? Now what will happen in BIM management? You would be collaborating with others through only one model, and that model would be called as a central model. Now central model would be always on server, and all the people that you are would be on your desktops. Now desktop's hard disk would be having a one local file of this central model. That is also a model in itself, but it's irrelevant. This would be just a channel through which the real data will come to in correlation with the master model. Now what will happen, if even if I delete this local data, no effect will come onto this master model. I can create new model every day. That won't create any problem. But what happens when this complete master model is in service in this server, your local file, local model automatically gets saved into the My Documents folder of your system. So we can change this file location wherever suitable to our hard disk or wherever we have some space for hard disk. Okay, that's a area. So work sharing would be done like if Shailesh and Monica and Ravi are working on a three all are working in a single project on a single model, and then all three of them would be working simultaneously. So you would be doing your part, they would be doing their part, and they're gonna have to synchronize in order for you to see what they both have done, or for in order him to work on what on based upon what you have done. Now later on, Mr. Musharraf has the use of model, like he wants to extract and create a shop drawing out of that model. That model will be shared with Mr. Musharraf's laptop or desktop. That desktop is our local hard drive, which will create a similar copy of a model into his own desktop, and he can work in his desktop. Even if his file is getting deleted, there is no problem. Work done by you will be always be saved in the server. But that model can be worked with 4 to 5, 15 people at a time. That is not an issue. It depends upon the hardware situation. If your hardware is wonderful, then there is no problem. It is very much possible. So this is a user file path for it. Okay. Now all these are there. We'll explore each and every part of it. But now you're able to understand the option bar, the options, Revit applications options. So keyboard shortcuts. Today I would be giving you some keyboard shortcuts. Okay. I would be giving you first initial draft of a simple keyboard shortcuts where you need to understand that we would be not using mouse for long because it is a slow process. We would be using keyboards for us to better work. Now if I say how you are going to better work it, like if I want to create a wall, I just say WA. I don't need to go there and select this one and then select the wall. I just select the WA, wall, create it. Now nothing is being created. Why? इम्पीरियल से क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
वो चेंज करेगा ना?
क्या चेंज कर रहा था?
इसलिए तो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, याद रहेगा
तो लिखना है ना वो चीज.
यूनिट कन्वर्जन में जाके
नहीं अब उसको कैसे पता है मोनिका को? बिकॉज शी हैज रिटन इट, राइट?
क्या लिखे हो?
Now see here, in the instance property, there is a discipline called structural. Over here, I gotta have to convert it into coordinate. She has written it, that's why she is able to go through the notes and then tell us the answer. She might have not, remembered it, but because she has written the notes, she can go through it. That's what I'm saying.
Just one. It is structural plan. You have taken the structural wall, then why it is not showing?
No, I have not taken structural wall. I have taken architectural wall.
It has.
Yeah, I have taken architectural wall because WA, if you see, it's for the this shortcut for wall architecture, and I do it on purposely. मुझे करना ही पड़ेगा तुम्हें confuse. I need to understand how attentive you are. See, मोनिका को समझ में आया ना?
वो रेविट पे काम करे, हमारा तो पहला दिन है इसका. वहाँ देख रहे हैं रेविट में पहली बार.
मोनिका कितना टाइम हो गया? How much time you are working on Revit?
Just for checking.
Huh?
Just for checking.
Checking.
Yeah.
Whatever.
हमारे को तो रेविट की दुम भी नहीं मालूम क्या है.
चलो, now we'll tell you about the doom of Revit. Don't worry about it. Okay, so the thing is, now if you see here, if I select a wall structural and I click and I select this wall structural and I over here in discipline I change it and I say okay, structural point. You can see this, the structural wall retains and the architectural wall goes out of the picture. So we'll say coordination because we're gonna have to see every part right now. Now if you, I was telling you the importance of keyboard shortcuts. If I press DR, DR is for doors. So the moment I press DR, door command got activated, and I can put as many as of these things. Like if I create DR and I want to, now these have structural openings. These are structural openings. So this is showing some problem that this cannot be cut out of this instances. But the same thing if I going to draw here, it's also not showing. One second. DR. Now, first of all, the moment I have selected DR, you have to see the first principle of Revit, the contextual tab. Okay. Then second, options bar, and third, your edit properties. Now, please write it down. This in this property palette, first part which you are able to see is called type selector. Type selector. Type selector. And then beneath it there is edit type bar option. This is called type properties of that element. The moment you are going to click it, a new box will show up. Yes, the new box will show up. Then beneath this properties, edit properties, all that you are able to see comes under instance properties. Okay, and what are instance properties? Instance properties are individual properties of an element. Okay. So over here I go to this contextual tab and I'll select load families. Now as I told you, I can create and I can even load the families from outside a library. Now this is a library I have, but this library is of US Imperial. Okay. Now if I want to change my default path, how I'm going to do it? I'll going to cancel it. I go to this application menu. I go to the option bar. Over this file locations, there is places, small button over here. Over here it is written Imperial Library and Imperial Detail Library. You go over here and select, I don't want it Imperial Library, rename it, just renaming it and saying I want a metric library, plus you change the file location of it. You will say not US Imperial but libraries and US metric and open it up. Now this is the metric part which will show by default and press OK. In the same way, if you have loaded families out of like internet and you have saved it in your My Documents folder, you can always add that file location over here by telling this is my internet families, my loadable families that I have downloaded, and then you have this link which you have to give here. So by default that will also show up. Now press OK. Now you see if I say load family, US metric shows up. Now over here I go to this doors. In this doors I go to this double glass or curtain panel, like I say glass. Okay, then I want a single panel. I'll press open. Over here it will ask you that these many types of this family. As I've told you, what comes up first? Category, then and then. So over here what is this? If you see, M door is a category, then double glass is a family, and whatever all these you are seeing are the types. These are the types of this family of this category, in simple words. That's why if you see in your status bar, it will always write down M door, which is a category, then double glass, which is a family, and then the type of it. Like I am saying, I don't want for a single panel and the double glass panel, you can see single panel, I say I just want this type and this type to be loaded, or not this type and this type to be loaded. I'm selecting it by pressing control button. I'm pressing in control button and left clicking it. In the same manner, I'm going to click this double glass and I'm going to say I want this much and this much and press OK. Now why I have selected? Because if you are going to load 10 types of a single family, your family will going to get bigger and more heavy. So you need to purge it time to time, and you need to be very careful of which kind of families you are getting loaded. So only relevant families are or should be loaded into the project in order to lighten the file. If you see here, I go down, you can see you have two types of double door glass which came up, and then two types of M single panel only which came up. This was a by default, so I can't do anything about it. If I select this one, I click here. One second. Okay, so I should tell you also why it is not happening. Like I am creating a door, and the moment I am going to select it, nothing is getting created. Why? If you see, as I told you, that when I have created this wall, I have not checked this instance properties. Instance properties clearly show that this wall will start with level 2. Actually, right now it's level 1 because I have selected it. If you select this line, this wall, or these both levels, so you can see this base is going to be selected from level 1. It will go up to level 2, but its base offset is minus 3000, which is below. Here I have to say 0 should be the base offset and come out. Now if you see in 3D, I'm just first of all controlling Z, and you will be able to understand one more thing. Now see, this was a base default settings. Both of them started from level 2, okay, end up on level 2 itself, but the main height is minus 3000. What in 3D if I show you, WT, so what I have done is I have just showed you where is level 2 right now. This is a level 2 basically. Okay, in a way, if I say you this is a level 2, this wall started from level 2, but it's saying the moment it started from level 2, I have given a base offset of minus 3000. In Revit, minus means going down and positive means going up, as always, as universal. If you see here, the moment I have said that it's starting from level 2, I have also said from the moment it's going to start from level 2, there would be minus 3000 offset also. And it is going up to level 2 only. So the moment from where it is going to get created, on in that moment itself it is getting ended. So if I select 0 here now, this wall will not be able to get created. If I select 0, you can see the top of the wall is lower than the base of the wall. So over here I gotta have to say my wall is from level 1, okay, and it's going to level 2. Now what would be the height of it? The height of it would be double of it. And I'm going to press 0 here. So basically this is the level 1 and this is the level 2. Now if I'm going to create a door, you see this door has been created now, but earlier it was not getting created. So if you see here, I go to this level 1, this door is created, but I'm not able to see this door. Why? Coordination. BV. Doors are created, selected.
Yeah. Those frame creation.
Yes, that can also be the place. but it's still not showing.
लेवल 2 का प्लान देखो लेवल 2 का
हाँ
लेवल 2 का प्लान
एक सेकंड
शेडेड है उसमें दिखेगा
नहीं मैंने बनाया तो लेवल 1 पे ही है ना ये लेवल 2 पे तो कुछ दिखेगा ही नहीं बनाया मैंने लेवल 1 पर है so in this I gotta have to edit this family and I have to see what's the visibility properties of it. Now see the thing is every door, okay, every door has subcategories. I'll tell you about when we are going to study about the families. So every door has a subcategory like a panel swing, a door frame, a door, a normal panel. So if you go to this VV or VG that I have told you about and go to the down part of it, you can see this door is checked. But if I am going to click a plus button in front of the door, I'll able to see there are a lot of subcategories which are unchecked in door, which will not be seen. So if I see here that I want to see an elevation swing and I'll apply, okay, what will happen if there is an elevation swing anywhere, it will be shown, but there is none. Like you can see this, there is no elevation swing here. If I am going to go this, elevation swing would be there, but it will be shown in your east and west elevation. Like we go to the north elevation, you can see this. This is the elevation swing. The swing that we are talking about that was plan swing. Now if we want to see the plan swing, we go to this again VV part and we say go to this doors and we want a plan swing and press apply. You see what will happen? The swings are coming but without a door panel. So I'll set VV and I'm going to click this doors and I'm going to check everything. I want everything to be seen. Okay, and press apply. Now it's able to show up. Now what's the main intent why I told you about it? If you see here that the shortcuts. Okay, now this door, I want to create this door again lot of times. Okay, now if I select the door DR, now by default this DR door has this M single panel door. Now what happens if I want to create this this kind of a door so much of times? What I have to do is I have to select DR on my keyboard, then I have to go to this type selector and then I have to select this type of door and then I have to do this, right? Now I can create this part. Now but after a time I want these doors to be created here. Now what should I do? Again DR. हाँ नहीं, without copy. The copy तुम नहीं कर सकते because for a simple reason, this is a loaded family. As we have loaded, this wall is a hosted family. You can't even create a door out of this. You can see this, a wrong panel is coming up. You can't create a door here. You're gonna have to create it on wall only. So for you to copy it will be some kind of an issue. The moment I'm going to copy it, you can see this, right? But yes, you can copy it, But then there is another different shortcut called create similar. You don't need to again select a, by keyboard you have to again select the family and then go to type selector, change the type and then going to create it. If you see that you have already created in the family, in a plan, and you're working very closely in this related, you don't need to disturb yourself. You just, if I see here पर DR पे, what is the default door? It's a double glass, but I wanted to create this door, right? So what I'll do is, I'll select this door and I'll create CS. CS means create similar. And then I'm going to click this door. Okay, now I want this door to be created. Just click it, CS. Okay, this is a power of keyboard shortcuts, CS. Okay, today after this class I'll share you set of keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so like if I go to this architecture plan, you can see this for wall it is WA, for door is DR, for windows it is WN. Even if you hover it, it will show you WN. For component it is CM, for column it is CL. Okay, you don't need to write it, but I'll tell you how to do it. Now there is a way to assign keyboard shortcuts, but you are not supposed to, because if each and every one of you will start assigning a keyboard shortcut of your own version, then another guy will not be able to work upon your system. So this keyboard shortcut standardization would be done by me, but you need to understand that where you can access it in order to, if you want to know a keyboard shortcut of some particular command and there is no keyboard shortcut for it and you want to assign it, you can always give a suggestion that we should be having this keyboard shortcut. Or if there is such a keyboard shortcut, you can just go to this keyboard shortcut menu and find it out yourself. Likewise, if you say here, there is a modify command here and there is a view command here. We'll go to this view command. In user interface part, you go down, there is a keyboard shortcuts. Okay, write it down. View tab, आगे arrow, view tab, arrow to Windows panel, user interface, then again go to this user interface button and then keyboard shortcuts. Okay, now press OK, keyboard shortcuts. If you see here, you search a command name, I say wall, W-A-L-L. Now you can see there is an architectural wall which shortcut is WA. There is a structural wall, then I am going to select this one and I am going to say WS should be the key. Now if the moment I am assigning it, it will tell me that is there any duplicate value, like if there any WS assigned to any other value, so it will tell you. If I assign it and there is no other value, then it will get assigned. Okay, but if you see this is an FT here, right? If I say for the wall joints, I'll select this one and I'll say I want this to be FT as well and I'll assign it. See, a simple message will come up that shortcut FT is currently assigned to this command structural foundation wall. Duplicates are allowed, but then you have to use arrow keys to cycle through the matches display. Like the moment you're going to press FT, these two, one of this will get operated. Then you have to select your one of the arrow keys in order to go through which one of you want to create it. Okay, now I'll press OK. No, I don't want to assign it. So you see keyboard shortcuts, I go to this wall, it is not being assigned. Okay, cancel. Now you see, if I say WA, one type of wall is coming, okay, architectural, and then WS, another structural wall type of wall is coming. But you can see the wall types will remain the same. That I have to, you are just using the wall structural for that matter. Now, what's the difference between a wall architecture and wall structure? In wall structure, you can create an area reinforcements. you can create area reinforcements by default. Like if I select a wall architectural WA and I select this wall A, anybody from KG facing some problems? Any problems?
No,
Nobody sleeping, right?
no.
Okay. Huh? Madhu, you're fine? मधु कहाँ गया? उड़ा दिया मैंने. I feel Madhu. Yes. Okay. No problem. Okay, so if we go here, now we have created a wall architectural, right? Now I'll create a wall structural. Okay, if I select this wall structure from here to here, now what will happen? If above I have told you about the 5 principles, now please observe these 5 principles. The moment I'm going to select this, there is a contextual tab which is showing I can change and modify the profile of this wall, or I can modify this wall in this way. But if I'm selecting this wall, you will see the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. The entire contextual tab has all together a different sets of settings with the wall structural part. But that's the difference. So over here, I can do my rebarring, I can do my area reinforcement, I can do my pathing. Like we need to create a cover and then going to create all this rebarring and all those stuff. And then we're going to have this wall exported directly to IDAT precast link, which will create different panels out of it. And then we have to export that precast link into this AutoCAD CCAD link. And out on that we're going to create the shop drawings, and then again going to import it again to Revit, and then from Revit we can create XML files. Okay, we'll tell you about a lot of this. We will be having intensive session with the precast guys as well on all of this. And then I would be in Krishnagiri. Don't worry about it. Okay, I would be in Krishnagiri for that matter, and you too all will be with me.
No, I need to finish this year.
So I am not giving you precast people right now. I have to teach you first Revit first. It will take 1 or 2 months.
6 months it will take.
So optimistic about your things. Now delete it. Let's see. So you're able to understand the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, let's go on to the different part. That is your project browser. I have told you about project browser, have I not? Okay. If you see here in this project browser, all your legends will come under this legends part, all the scheduled quantities will come under this part, all the sheets will come under your sheets part. But what is this about families? Now you see, if I select a wall or a door, DR, over here, I have minimized my canvas. If I select DR here, you can see here in the DR, in the type selector, I have these doors which I do not need, right? I do not need these doors. Now what I am going to do is, over here in the families part, I'll click all the families which are being loaded or a system family, they would be enlisted in the family folder. I'm telling you this, and you need to understand that you will be facing a lot of stuff when you would be saying, I am not able to edit this family. Why I am not able to edit this family? So
Default family.
Whatever it is, whenever you face such problems, you open this families part in the project browser, and over here you can edit any kind of family, whether it's symbolic family, whether it's a graphical family, whether it's a non-graphical family, whether it's a symbol, it's a text, it's a tag, it's a keynote, whatever it is. So over here, when you go to this doors part, okay, over here, right click, you have this edit part. The moment I click edit, I can edit this family. A new window will show up and I can edit this family. So over here you can see this M door opening, all these things. I don't want it. I'll right click and I'll say delete. That's it. Nothing else needed. Now my file size is much more smaller than a previous one. So if I select DR, and you can see if I go down, there is no doors families now. Okay. So whatever it is you have inside with you, that's what project browser is all about. Next part, properties palette and the type selector. I have told you about. Everybody knew about type selector?
Yes.
Only one yes. हाँ तो सबको मालूम है, मुझे कैसे पता लगेगा? Am I telepathic? I am not telepathic. I am not telekinetic. Option bar, canvas, status bar, view control bar. Now let's come to bar selection methods. Okay, how we select things. This one. Which one? Which one?
Selection method.
Selection methods. You want to do it in the second phase.
Yes.
When we started 9:15. Let me see the 9:25. Okay, cool.